We're gonna attach the trunk with hood pins. You might ask why. Because we're gonna get rid of these, this, all of this structure here. Look how light I made this trunk. We're gonna hydro dip the trunk and the fender, but first, I have to go pick up Amina.
Keep going.
I want to point out, the whole point of this was to save a little bit of weight, and so globbing 6 pounds of filler on completely eliminates what we cut out. Fear not, it goes on heavy, and then I'm gonna spend way too much time sanding, and we're gonna be left with a real thin line. What I'm really good at is covering my welds in either heat wrap or this.
That came out.
I didn't think the whole thing was gonna cover.
Close. I didn't think this part was gonna be covered.
I didn't either. That's cool because now I can really, like, we can cover up the little holes that messed up, but this whole top is, I think the whole top's good.
It looks
One
amazing.
little teeny tiny one. It gets tricky when the film's that big
Yeah,
because it has to, like, those are from sitting on the water too long. typically.
Oh, I see.
Fellas, let me break this down for you. So these turned out pretty dang good. On the fender, there's a spot there and a spot there you could see very visibly on camera that I'm not happy with. Other than that, the fender's pretty much perfect. This one got a couple little teeny tiny guys right there that you really can't see. And then I think this one down here, this spot on the film, I got a little dry on the activator, so they're kind of some scattered pinholes. They're even smaller than that, but I see this so much that that's what it is. Definitely have, I missed a freaking dent. That makes me mad. Definitely have to wet sand those, but we're gonna do like a livery style theme on this car. I sent Mina a picture of a 240 with like a sketched out design and he really likes it. So we're gonna kind of try and do something like that. We're probably gonna do some form of like diagonals, right? I'm not going to get too into detail because I'll bore you. You'll see it when you see it. It's going to look sick. I don't entirely know what it is yet, so there's no point in really trying to explain it because I'd be lying. But anyways, what we're kind of thinking is like we'll kind of drape the graphic and it'll just kind of crest the corner, so we'll be hiding the imperfections there, and then we'll keep the rest of that looking good because it looks good. And then we'll just kind of tie it into the hood. I was thinking about dipping this section of the hood so it'd line up, but it'd just be such a pain in the butt. That's such a big piece, and I have to dip this side and then dip that side, and it's just not worth it. The trunk. So the plan was to just make sure we cover the top, and if this part covered, cool. Ended up covering the whole thing, and it's pretty decent. The clear on this is not as great as I want, but like I said with the graphic up there, we literally have to wet sand this entire thing and wet sand both fenders so that the paint sticks to it. And then we're going to clear it all again. So we're going to have a nice thick base. Like this one, you can see, look at all those little dusty nibs. I must have sneezed or something while I was clearing. I don't know. But as far as the graphic goes, it looks pretty dang real. The only spot I'm not happy with, it's stretched right there on that corner. But everything else is very symmetrical. Up top is pretty much perfect. Down here, we have a lot of those little blowouts that I was seeing on the fender. They're kind of scattered all over. So what happens, what I've learned recently, actually this year, I really struggled with this about a year and a half ago, is the graphic is on the water too long, or if the temperature of the water is too hot, you'll get those blowouts. And so like there's one right there, real little, but kind of like so I started on this end, and as I went further, the more of those popped up. So basically, this part of the graphic was sitting on the water longer than where I first started. But by the time I sprayed activator over a piece that big, really what I should have done is I should have started spraying the activator about 10 seconds before I was supposed to, so that by the time I was done spraying, the wait time on the water was about what it should have been, and I didn't do that, and so that's why we have that issue. Quick update, because we have to wait. We got to wait for that to go bye-bye, and we got to wait for this to go bye-bye. You've seen this and the Element. The Element, we found out we have to buy seatbelt buckles and a seatbelt for, and so those are on their way here, shipped, so that's why that's still here. This one, I found out that the freaking wheel was sitting like half an inch back this way, and I haven't figured out if it's my eyeball or if something's wrong. Everything looks straight. I can't tell if that is supposed to be cockeyed like that. I haven't looked at the other side because there's no freaking room. So anyways, this has to get out of here. That has to get out of here in order for me to take all of those vehicles, put them on this side, and then put Mina's Civic over here where we will sand and do all the painting, because I can drape something across that wall and basically make a gigantic spray room. So that's kind of what we're waiting on. So I'm trying to pick and choose what we can do that we don't need that space for. Next on the list, I am waiting to get Mina's approval. I think we're going to do the same e-brake setup that I made for the Bug, where we basically take the lock mechanism out and then extend this up so it's easy for him to grab and he can put some leverage on it as a staging brake. Bumper, we could definitely like sand this, sand the hood, do the little stuff. We have to cut the bumper out because this is gonna stick just outside of it. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. We gotta build the intercooler. So we talked about that. We're gonna cut that one. That's a radiator, the one behind it. We're gonna cut that in half, use the 2 cores, stack them, waiting on metal for that, and then Dennis is gonna do his thing. I think I'm also gonna dip these because they pop off. Mina wants me to dip his entire quarter panels, but I told him no. The Bug doesn't, it's kind of a weighted situation. I'd like to get a better turbo because we're hitting 25 pounds of boost, and that is I'm not exaggerating. Mina paid like $100 for that on a Black Friday eBay deal, and I don't really trust that at 25 pounds. So we're talking to Precision right now. We're going to see if they can help us out. It'd be cool to get a nice name brand, reliable 62 mil. I think that'd be pretty sweet on this. Other than that, I mean, dip the valve cover and then install a new transmission, but we don't have a ton to do on this as of yet. I'm sure that will change. You guys, if you have paint scheme ideas or graphic ideas, find us on Instagram and send them to us, because nothing is finalized yet, and we're probably still, I'd say, a week minimum away from really like starting to put paint on the thing. So if you have some graphic ideas that we could do easily, let me know. And that's all I got for you. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.